Hey everybody, what's up? Right now I'm going to be talking about mana tips. So if you are running low on mana in a lot of fights, I'm going to be talking about some helpful tips and suggestions during this video. So Mighty, for example, Mighty, for example, he does have this AoE Aqua spread that I love to use because it doesn't cost much mana to use it at all, and it does quite a bit of damage. And then Double Sleep, I only use that for bosses, mainly, are really tough enemies. So I don't really use it that much. I mean, because it costs a lot of mana, and then, you just run out, and then all he has as a weapon is a staff. And then staves, they don't do much damage, melee damage. So you definitely want to keep using his, Aqua spread, as much as possible. And then if an enemy is resistant to water, you can always switch him out for a different hero. I usually keep him in the back. Or, I just switch him out completely. Because I do have other heroes that I do like to use, so I just switched Mayu in quite a bit of times when I was playing if enemies are resistant to water. And then, let's see. And then Meryl over here, let's see if she has any good abilities. That Cure Leaf. So I use that plenty of times if my heroes don't really need many hit points. I just spam that. I just keep using Cure Leaf over and over again because it's low cost, heals for quite a bit. And then it's just a lot better alternative to using Healing Aroma, over and over because you will run out of mana faster. There are a lot of exceptions in the game, late game anyways, where you want to use Healing Aroma. You kind of want to spam it over and over again because enemies might be doing a lot more damage. So those are some exceptions. And then this Aurora Force, I use it, but I don't really depend on it because Seal's ability lasts for 5 turns instead of 2, and it's just a lot. It lasts longer. Even though it's only 30% type resistance as opposed to 50, it just lasts a lot longer. And I just prefer to use Seals over hers. I just have it in here as backup, just in case I am getting hit hard. I will use this in some cases. If all my party's hit points are at full, I just like to give them that extra resistance, so that's why I have this down here as backup. And then Lockheed, he's also really good at AoE. He does use more mana, of course. He doesn't have any. Okay, maybe he does. So actually, he does have this roundhouse kick that uses. It's low mana points. I didn't even use it during the whole game. I ended up beating the whole game without ever using it. But that roundhouse kick, definitely is a great low-cost mana, attacking all enemies. And I would say it's a great move. Despite it being, supposedly, level one skill or whatnot. It's definitely a great ability, especially if you want to do AoE and then everything's resistant to Earth. I would definitely, switch out Ground Break with Roundhouse Kick. And then, a lot of his abilities, they just cost a lot of mana, altogether. So I do have this Metal Smasher in here as well. And it's just great. It stuns a lot of high-end bosses. And my party's they get a lot of hits on this boss. A lot of hits on bosses, and they don't even get a hit back because they're just stunned. It's just a great ability to have as a backup. Let's see. Oh, and then Xian for his skills. Right now I was using all fire moves just because I was fighting an area where everything was weak against fire. So that's why I have all these options right here. So I like to use Scarlet Tango first because it lowers the enemy's fire resistance. And then I switch to, Fire Cut, on bosses. If the boss fight is going to be long and drawn out, that's my plan. I just want to lower their fire resistance, and then I switch down to Fire Cut, and then I just keep using that because it's going to last a long time. I mean, when you're fighting these bosses, a lot of them, you're in it for the long haul. So you want to lower their fire resistance, and you want to switch to Fire Cut and just, cut them down over time. And it works really well. I mean, I beat the whole game doing that, and it just worked very, very well. And then Suzette, I don't know. I just got her, so I'm sure she's really good with AoE wind attacks, but I mean, she isn't necessary to beat the game at all. And it looks like she does have this dark thrust on her that, piercing attacks on all enemies. I mean, I would say that's, really good because it is attacking all enemies. And let's see what else. Yeah, so enemies that are weak against wind, mainly, or if they're resistant to wind, just switch over to normal attacks. Normal or like piercing attacks. I mean, normal attacks, I would say work better than piercing because they typically don't have any, normal attacks typically don't have any resistance against them. So let's see real quick. A normal attack, I would say a lot of Xian's attacks. I mean, I don't think, slash attacks, they don't really have, I don't think any enemies in the game have resistance to slash. I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, that'd be good information to know because it's been a while since I did beat the game. But as far as I know, those slash attacks were really useful during the whole game. And then Seal, I just keep him around mainly for the elemental song. I mean, I kind of use him here and there. And then his Heartbreak. It does cost quite a bit of mana. So I only use it to lower the boss's power. And then I switch them out, mainly. I use Elemental Song, Heartbreak if necessary. Then I switch them out for another hero. I mean, that's all he's good for to me later on. Is just giving me, a quick buff, lowering the enemy's power. And then I switch them out. That's all I use him for. But he's a really good hero. He is really good. Seal is very good. I used him the whole game. No complaints or anything. Very useful. And if you would like to know, anything else about this game, feel free to leave a comment below. Or, if you feel like I need to improve anything, just leave a comment below. And I will definitely make sure I add that to the next video.